So we have a few interesting wars going on between Sweden and England and Rome and Mali. I don't know if this is going to cause some sort of reaction from the other three powers, but it's definitely possible. Now, Sweden hasn't had any luck so far taking over Amsterdam. Remember, Elizabeth processes her turn very the first one. She's the first one to process her turn. That's a great way to start up an episode, just like my brain failing. I mean, I guess if you guys watch the episodes all the way through, then you see my brain failing all the way through a video. But I mean, this is especially bad because it failed in the very beginning. But I think Sweden will be able to take this over now, potentially. Maybe not. Well, there's two artillery. Yeah, you know what? They should probably be able to take this over, I'm thinking. So Sweden will take over Amsterdam. England had begun to reinforce from Nottingham. They finally started to do that. There were a few Swedish ships engaging in battle with Elizabeth, but nothing too major went down. Obviously, I believe Elizabeth has a bit more powerful of a navy. Their navy's a bit more powerful, because technology, or they can move faster because it's England and stuff like that. All that does have an impact. Boom, there goes Amsterdam falling to Sweden, and Sweden's not going to be done there. They're going to continue onward, and looks like they're going to attack London. They're going to try to attack London. There's a very weak artillery unit, as well as two fresh ones inside of London, and just north of London, there's a battleship that they need to kind of figure out what to do with. There's carriers, which won't do anything, a machine gun, and a Great War infantry. The Philippines and Indonesia have peaced out. Did they peace out for any cities? Oh my goodness, they did. Wow. That's surprising. Now, why did you do that, Indonesia? You just broke everything. Indonesia, you just messed up, dude. I mean, you gave that city to the Philippines. The Philippines didn't need any extra population, but you done goofed, man. I guess it's because they were going to lose Jakarta. So they figured, I'd just give you one of my bigger cities. I don't want to lose the capital. Wow. That is really shocking. And England took back Amsterdam. I don't know if they're going to be able to make that last. Well, they might be able to. Actually, there's no melee unit nearby. Not yet, at least. So they're going to keep it like that. Wow. All right, Philippines. I mean, again, it's just going to bring the Philippines maybe into a close 5th place spot. But at the end of the day, I just cannot give them the victory. The mod is too powerful, and as well as they didn't really do anything. That the fact that they got slapped back by Korea several videos ago when they were making a very good push inside of Eastern Asia. I mean, that kind of says it all to me. Tibet is really starting to rebuild their military, and they're starting to even push forward, maybe against Delhi. But the weird thing is the Mongolian battleships are not being used to attack Delhi. I don't know why. So Sweden took back Amsterdam once again. This is a battleship, so they will not be able to take it over until they get like an ironclad over, or like maybe a privateer or something in play. Sweden's got a fleet that's hiding by Greenland and Iceland. I wonder what they're trying to do there. As well as for the Roman Mali conflict, really nothing has happened too much. Augustus is reinforcing from the Mediterranean. He's bringing over a lot of land units, and they're trying to move through the Sahara Desert, but I've got to give it to Mali. Mali's not done a bad job at, they have not sat back and played defensive. No, they have met Rome in the middle of the desert, and they've been fighting it out. And I have noticed that Mali even has been destroying a few units. Now, if they go around the mountain, no, they decided not to. So look, I mean, there are units around here. They are not going to get pushed around, at least by Rome. They might get pushed around by Ethiopia, though. Catherine is building up a sneak attack. I wonder who that is for, and I really hope we actually see it. So, boom, England is done. They decided to peace out. Or maybe Sweden was done. Maybe Sweden just wanted Amsterdam, which would be a smart, location to grab. But they didn't lose anything else, did they? No, they still have their colonies. Everything else is all good there. Did Ethiopia end up settling in the New World or no? I don't see them. They haven't been at any wars, so I don't know where that settler decided to move towards. Oh, here he is. Bam. And the Zulu might even get another settler out. What are the... Oh, they're going to get 2 more settlers. That's funny, because the Zulu started off in Madagascar. Well, they were in Madagascar. Obviously, they started in South Africa. But they're looking like they're not technically a colonial powerhouse, huh? Shaka is kind of a tribe of the New World now, you know? I mean, he's still technically behind in technology. Could you classify him as that? I don't know. Maybe. 2061, Shaka. You should have got your stuff together a long time ago. Yeah, I know I made this comment in the last video, but man, am I disappointed in both Mali and Portugal and not colonizing. Like, we saw Rome colonize. They don't even start with a possibility of reaching the Atlantic Ocean for several turns. And they technically don't even have a city along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Everything is inland. And they were able to get open borders and continue to colonize and just be this great colonial power. Okay, so Rome is moving through Ethiopian territory, and I have no idea why or what is going on. What is going on here, Augustus? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to pull? Who are you trying to attack? Oh, you're going after Persia. Yeah, but that's not going to be a good idea. There's no way you're going to have any success going up against Medina. You're just going to lose more units. Unless maybe that's... I mean, maybe the AI is starting to realize, wait a second, I've got to start grabbing capitals or else this is not going to go so well. I thank you guys for all the awesome formulas that I've been seeing in the comment section of how to determine a winner. Still not 100% how we're going to do it. I think that I'm going to try to keep it simple. I know there's some people that have very drastic formulas. I'm thinking we might keep it simple. Maybe give 3 points per capital, 2 points per city, and then maybe give a point for every InfoAddicts victory, every InfoAddicts category, something very simple like that. I don't think we should be giving. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not 100% about that, but we'll look into population as well. I might give like 3 points for a population victory. Ooh, so Persia and Greece. But that is just going to make things more complicated because the Persians still have to worry about the Romans. I don't think Darius realizes that he remembers this war and he's still going after it. And Rome is continuing to settle things. I mean, Mali's definitely not out of the woods just yet. Mali's still going to have to continue to deal with the Romans, and there are several more units that are still coming down. I mean, it is not over. Persia doesn't have much along the eastern Mediterranean. Medina is obviously a puppeted city. They don't have any sort of ships or anything like that. The problem right now for Persia would be if they were to send and embark units out. That'd be a big deal. Now, did Mongolia lose those battleships? I think they did. I believe Mongolia lost those battleships, and those battleships weren't even attacking Delhi. And here come the Champa. So this is interesting because Tibet and the Champa are at war with each other. But it looks like they're somewhat going after Delhi. There's no way this is going to be successful. I believe Delhi is one of the biggest cities in the world. I think it is. No, never mind. Manila's at 42 population. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I think I was mentioning it briefly, and I'm not going over the InfoAddicts until the very end of the series. I believe we went over the InfoAddicts like maybe around turn 500. I figured, why we shouldn't be doing that. Let's just save it toward the very end to keep it kind of a surprise, and we'll look at it like that. I mean, honestly, if the InfoAddicts isn't in a complete divide, I guess, like if it isn't like completely divided, then I guess a better way of putting it would be if the InfoAddicts is led by one nation entirely in like all the categories, then I'm probably going to give that to that Civ. And honestly, right now, since we're about 25 turns away, I think it's got to be Rome. I think I made this comment before. I think Rome has won the series so far. I mean, for the sheer fact of where they start in, and the fact that they colonized so much, they're still going at war. They're still going to war with people. I mean, it's incredible. They defended Ethiopia. They defended against Ethiopia, a nation that, I mean, technically I understand that Ethiopia maybe didn't push as hard as they should have, but they still defended this former Carthaginian city from the attack that Ethiopia had that they were launching from Thebes. So, I mean, you got to give Rome a lot of credit, and I believe obviously they have the most amount of cities. They've colonized freaking a crazy amount in Latin America. They've turned this into real Latin America. Oh, the Zulu are going to settle just on the Yucatan Peninsula. They've already slapped this guy down. Ethiopia's still looking for a spot. So yeah, I must say now that pretty much the series is over, yeah, the colonization was a little bit disappointing. I thought we'd see a little bit more. I think that I'm pretty sure when we played on Prince difficulty, I think I saw a little bit more colonization. All right, it was about this. The problem with, if we really wanted to see a new world that was completely filled with colonies, we'd have to play on Deity. And I will never play on Deity again because Deity is way too snowball effect. And I've mentioned this several times in the past before too. It's way too snowball effect. It's like one nation that, ooh, this is an interesting category to pop up. We have Genghis Khan #1 with the pointiest stick. So he is not too much stronger, but this is very telling. We've got the Philippines in a very nicely placed 5th place spot. Portugal in 6th, Champa in 7th. Wow, surprised the Champa's in the 7th place spot, and everybody else doesn't really matter. Didn't realize that Mali had a bigger military than the Boer. I guess the Boer are just more compact, so it seems like they're more powerful, but they're behind in technology. I tend to do that accidentally, too much. So yes, Mongolia, Catherine, it's all pretty fair. I would be interested to see Mongolia going after Rome. I mean, that war was declared. I think Rome has been at war with everybody except for Russia. I think because there was a brief moment where Rome and Mongolia were at war, and it was a colonial war. Nothing ever came from that war. It was interesting, but nothing ever came from it. Wow, yeah, Rome has launched several attacks. Here's the thing. While they continue to go to war with Mali, that is where I think something interesting is going to happen. Obviously, either Ethiopia is going to declare war on Mali. That is kind of an easy one to predict. But if we start to see that Roman military number continue to fall while they're fighting two different fronts, one for the front against the Mali military and trying to go after the former Songhai capital, and the second front against Persia and trying to attack Medina. Like, why? Medina is at 7 population. I mean, maybe they want to expand their territory into the Middle East. I get that. But Persia has really rebuilt, I think. They've got modern infantry units. They have, anti-aircraft guns. They've got enough units here to easily defend, I think. They're going to lose a lot of units in the process, especially trying to move through the Suez Canal. There's no way this is going to be that successful for them. And it looks like they're going to bring in even more units over, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that military manpower number drop down to maybe 70,000. And at that point, what could we expect from someone like Russia, someone even like Portugal, who was in 6th place? Someone like Portugal could try something here. The AI needs to realize, though, from Portugal, they need to move all their units inside the Mediterranean, though. You destroy the heart of the Roman Empire by destroying all their units inside of the Mediterranean. That way they can't reinforce their colonies, and they cannot move back all these units that they have attacking Mali and Persia, I should say. So even though I have Rome ranked in my #1 spot, I have to say they are right now the most vulnerable, because they're the only ones that are continuing to stay at war. And at the end of the day, yes, that's the only way you're going to win, but that's to an extent. There will become a point where that just makes you vulnerable. The Boer they did push their fleet up towards Mali, so Mali, they're losing a lot of units. And if anything, I think that Ethiopia will probably go to war with Mali, but maybe they're watching to see also what's going on with Rome. Now, because Rome already has a huge chunk of their military in North Africa, I don't know if Ethiopia is going to have much success. They probably, for their sake, just should go after Mali. The fall and the collapse of the Roman military would have a bigger impact on nations that border them in the European continent, like Portugal and Russia. If they were to work together, if we see some sort of declaration of friendship or something like that, then that would be a big deal. Rome has denounced Austria. Russia has publicly denounced Byzantium. I need to look at any, if at all, if there's any friendships still going on in this world. That would be a pretty big that'd have a pretty big diplomatic impact, actually. At this point in the game, at this stage in the campaign, if there were any more friendships that still existed, that'd be a pretty big deal, to be honest. That'd be a pretty massive deal. Mali with a small force here. Is Mali at war with England? I didn't know that. Ethiopia still hasn't found a city. They're still looking all over the place. Now, what Portugal would need... Oh, there goes the first Portuguese settler. Yeah, Portugal does not have... I don't think they've built the Manhattan Project, which Rome has. but I do not believe they've used the... I don't think they've used any nuclear weapons. Okay, so now Rome is slowly starting to approach here. They are starting to approach. Mali is down to just a few artillery units. This small sneak attack actually helped them quite a bit because, yeah, the small force got completely destroyed that Rome had, but Mali decided to retreat their units to destroy this small force instead of pushing them forward against the major military strength coming from the north to the south. Are there a lot of like naval units or I'm sorry, air units? How is the city so low already? Maybe it's because it's a new city. It's at 76 city defense. I guess they had quite a few units beforehand. Oh, boom, they took that out like easily with the massive air force. And here they come. Oh, man. All right, so this is a city with 14 population. Let's go ahead and check on how Persia... Ooh. Whoa. It looks like Persia just destroyed everything that the Romans had. Almost everything. I mean, there's railroads along here, so I guess they could have sent and retreated their units back quite quickly. But it looks like Persia's really defended themselves quite nicely. That could have ended in a much bigger disaster. Champa did not take over Delhi. Thebes, I'm sorry, Tibet either. Tibet, and it's just a big old mess. I mean, nothing is really going to make an impact here. Still surprised that the Indonesians pretty much gave up the city. Shocked by that. I guess the Philippines could pretty much take over Indonesia. At some point, they probably would have taken over Indonesia. But we will not see that more than likely, I don't think. And those Roman settlers did get taken over because of that very weird war Augustus decided to declare at that time. So that's 2 less cities that Rome potentially could have had. Although they might take over this capital. They could definitely take over this capital. We've got, where's the Portuguese settler? There's one. And are there anything else? No, not necessarily. And the Boer are probably going to really probably put the Mali military in a very stressful situation. Because if this starts to be sieged out, this southern coastal city starts to be sieged out, they're going to have a tough time. They have all their reinforcements up this way. The thing is, Rome is very good at utilizing that air force. That is what saved them. They've got 2 bombers and 2 fighters. Obviously, with those 2 bombers, they can do a lot of damage. How's Persia and Rome doing? They're doing just fine, but let's just forget about the Persian-Rome front. Let's focus in on here. I don't think they destroyed many units, but they're continuing to push forward, which means that Augustus is going to lose things, essentially. He is going to lose units if he decides to do something like that. And that will not be very easy for him to take this over efficiently, at least. Are there atomic weapons over here? No. I was wondering if he had brought anything over to the New World. I mean, there's practically 2 Roman empires. That is how powerful Rome is in this campaign. But anyways, guys, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.